So what's up guys, this is Sean and welcome back to the podcast, and today we have a very special guest. So we have an expat here from China. She is Jessie and she runs YouTube channel as well. The channel's name is called Nomad-Life.
Nomad-Life, yeah.
Right, so that's very interesting. So first of all, maybe you want to say hi to all the audiences?
Yeah, sure, yeah. So hi guys, my name is Jessie and I'm really glad that I'm here to meet Sean finally in person, because when I was back in the UK, Sean's channel is like my Bible to Malaysia's property, and now like I can meet the actual guy, so it really made my day. Yeah.
Hopefully it meets the expectation.
No, it did. Yeah.
When they reached out, right, your husband, right, your husband reached out and asked that, hey, maybe we can meet and we can do a podcast together. And perfect. It was perfect timing because currently Malaysia has been one of the top destinations for expats, not only from China, from UK, from everywhere else, Korean, Japanese. And sometimes I think Malaysians, locals, take it for granted. Our real estate properties, our economic climate, our infrastructure, we all take for granted. So I really want to understand from your perspective, like, why Malaysia?
Why Malaysia? Yeah, sure. So first of all, we were in the UK for like many years, and we kind of like a little bit tired of what UK is offering, you know, in terms of like weather, like safety issues, blah blah. So we're kind of like looking for our second home or like our next destination. So, and we did a lot of research, right? There's some top alternative places, such as Portugal, Spain. You know, they're like too popular for like US expats or UK expats.
Portugal?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one of the most popular retirement
Oh,
place.
wow.
Because it's cheaper, and then they do also offer one of the visa called Golden Visa, where that you buy a property there, and then they offer you like a Golden Visa. So suddenly you can basically travel within the Europe, like visa free, So, but after that, we visited Portugal and Spain, but we feel like it's not really for us because of the culture and language. And then we, you know, did some research about Asia, specifically Southeast Asia, because I used to stay in Singapore for like 3 years working, so kind of like know like the Singapore and Malaysia, you know, the culture here. So then I feel like, oh, maybe Malaysia is the, you know, the choice. And we paid our first visit back to 2022 at that time. That was like right after Malaysia opened the border, after the MCO, right? Because we always looking YouTube videos before that, building our knowledge about Malaysia like virtually, and then just waiting for the border to open. And once it opened, we booked our ticket and made our first flight to Malaysia. So and then everything just like makes sense, you know, tick all the boxes. They have the great, you know, culture, food. You know, they have international cuisines and they offer diverse culture, which is lack from, you know, maybe mainland China, for example. And then another reason is, you know, the education. They offer a great international education system. Like if you are from UK, like they have lots of like UK international schools, so as US, right? So that's good. And then it's just the language. I don't think there's so many other places they offer such a good bilingual language, you know, environment other than Malaysia. Because I've lived in Singapore and Hong Kong before. I think the Mandarin, you know, the usage of Mandarin in Malaysia is way more better than Singapore and Hong Kong.
Really?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Maybe just we have some accent and some local flavor to it, right?
Yeah, because I feel like in Malaysia, Chinese, I mean Chinese Malaysian, they kind of more proud to speak in Chinese. Other than, you know, many other, for example, Singapore or Hong Kong, like they more tend to, I think Singaporean, they tend to
speak more English.
So that's one of the reasons, because we're also thinking about our parents. If they wanted to live here with us, then if they can, you know, easily use Mandarin to communicate with the local society, that's gonna be good.
Wow. But may I ask, like, what do you do for job in UK back then?
So I was in investment banking for like 10 years. And it's a very demanding job, very busy, overtime, like long hours, and And especially I feel like after having kids and the COVID, the pandemic, my mindset changed a lot. Like I used to be, quite hardworking, kind of like, I'm very determined, aggressive. But now I feel like maybe, I need to balance
things a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So now
it's a huge reset for everyone.
I know, right? Yeah.
And when you started this is a very selfish question, but how did you guys came about my channel in then?
Yeah, so when we were back in the UK, right, lockdown, and we were thinking about our next destination, we almost get all our information from YouTube. So thanks for YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And then we just did a lot of research about Malaysian property, and your channel is just, one of our favorite. Yeah, so like I remember back then, every time you post a new videos, you talk about one of the development, right?
Yeah.
We did a lot of research because some of the development, the name, it's in Malay or whatever, like it doesn't really make sense. So we have to Google it in the Google map to see, okay, where exactly it is, to see it, visualize it, basically.
Oh, wow.
So we learned like Mount Kiara, North Kiara, and I know that some place like north of the Mount Kiara is called Segambu. Yeah, this is something that I learned from you.
Wow.
Yeah, and then in our first visit, we finally made our, visit to Malaysia. We followed some of your videos to see the places. Yeah. So that's why I said you were like the property Bible to us back then. Yeah.
This gave me the idea like I really should set like a must visit. I used to have this. I have an idea where, like, for example, if you're a Singaporean or if you're anywhere from international locations, when you come here to truly experience Malaysian property, you have to come to Desa Park City, Mount Kiara, Setia Alam, Cheras, Ampang, because it's just so diverse. It's not like in the UK.
Yeah.
It's very governed. It's very uniform. Here is so different.
Yeah.
And it's one street away, especially from where you stay.
Yeah, it's
right?
quite different.
It's
yeah.
The whole traffic congestion, the whole language, the culture. It's just literally one street away.
Yeah, true.
You guys bought a property already?
Yeah.
So
we bought the new property in Desa Park City, Park Place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's going to be completed in 2 years' time?
In early next year, actually.
So it means 2 years' time. So there's
it's
also
just
something
couple
where,
months away.
yeah, the Malaysian culture kind of thing. Sometimes when we overpromise things, especially the source of information.
Okay.
So this is like some glitch in Malaysians' culture where they say one thing may not necessarily be true. So it may be for reference, but it will happen. But just that the timeline-wise, we are not that accurate.
Okay.
Not like our.
Just be patient, right?
Yeah, not like our friends in Singapore where it's spot on. Their handover is spot on.
Okay.
So, but why Desa Park City then?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. In our first 2 visits, we didn't even know about Desa Park City. That's the thing I found, like on YouTube, right? There are actually not that many information about Desa Park City at that time. We learned about like KLCC and Mount Kiara. They're like the 2 top like expat-friendly community, right? So we did so many viewings in KLCC and Mount Kiara in our first 2 trips. We visited like 10 different developments, but then I just couldn't find the one thing that I'm like determined to really put my money down to purchase a property until the other day I learned about Desa Park City, and then that's our 3rd visit to Malaysia. Wow. Yeah, I just took a Grab to Desa Park City, and as long as I just reached that place, I saw the lake, the Central Park, the surrounding area. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
You're sold.
Yeah, I was 100% sold. Yeah, and then I met my agent on that day. I visited the show gallery. I put my deposit down. Yeah, it just like happened so quickly. So
just some context about Desa Park City in Malaysia properties market, right? It's what we call an unicorn.
Okay.
It's one of that very rare locations.
Very rare,
where you have landed properties surrounding around a lake in the center of Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
So it's great find.
Yeah, but I just feel like there are not so many videos about Desa Park City before that, because I feel like maybe because the developers projects are so popular. So they don't really do lots of like marketing.
To answer that, there's two types of property developers generally. One are public listed, where you will have shareholders to determine your sales target for the year.
Oh, okay.
So when your first phase is doing very well, why wait? You keep pushing out products. But for Desa Park City, the developer is actually private.
Okay.
So there's no shareholders to answer to. So they will just pace out their launches.
Yeah.
And that's why they are so successful.
Yeah.
And just to share also some things about Desa Park City, in 2009 when they were launched, the double-story terrace houses were only 700,000 ringgit.
Wow.
Today is
Yeah.
2.9 million.
Yeah, or even more, I think. Yeah.
So for some, like they have been sold for a crazy amount, like 9 million, the latest purchase.
Yeah. You know the condo that I bought last year, it was 2.1 million ringgit, and now it's like over 3.2.
Yeah.
So it's almost 50% appreciation just in 1 year times.
Yeah. So
Beyond imagination.
and when I
Yeah.
saw your sharing online, like it gives a very good vibe for everyone to really, wow, KL property is amazing. But it's because maybe it's your skill set. I do think that it's your skill set and your mindset, right? That you found Desa Park City. Because for the rest of the locations in KL, it doesn't perform that way.
Yeah. That's also what I like. One thing I noticed: lots of places, the price actually didn't really go appreciated.
Yeah, it won't go that high.
Yeah.
So,
because I feel like there is an oversupply issue in lots of areas in
Yep.
KL. There's always like new condos coming up.
yeah.
Right. So there's like continuous supply to the market. So how are you gonna hold the value?
You're right. Absolutely right. But what are the main differences like of real estate? Maybe because I only been in KL. I've been to UK, Manchester for a week.
Yeah, I saw that video
Yeah.
that you visited Manchester.
Just to clarify again, I do
Yeah.
not own any UK properties. I wanted to. I almost booked. I placed the down payment.
Yeah.
But the return was great. It was about 10 to 11% of yield. But to me, my interest rate back then was about 9 to 10%.
Yeah.
And with the foreign exchange risk,
That's true. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
But when you travel, did you travel all the way from UK three times?
Yeah. Like back in 2022, right? We took our son. At that time, he was not even 2 years old, like 18 months. And then it was his first long haul flight, like 14 hours straight to KL. Yeah, when I think of that, I'm so proud, you know, the courage that we made that decision to see it, because we've been watching videos about KL, about Malaysia for like months, but it just didn't open the border at that time. Once it opened, we just
Wow. I took my only trip. I think I will take the next trip in like the next 10 years. That 14-hour flight, I don't know how your kid did it. I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I was struggling in the flight.
Yeah.
I was trying to I finished up like 2 sets of battery because I was editing on flight.
Okay.
But I still cannot burn enough time.
Wow.
I say like, this is so.
To get some sleep.
But okay, so what is again back to the question? What is the main difference from your observation, like properties in UK or in China compared to Malaysia?
Yeah. Well, for UK property, I think I do have the position to say, because we own like several buy-to-let property in the UK, in London as well as in Birmingham. So we are quite experienced. Like we started to invest in property back in 2019, I believe. Yeah. And then one thing I found is difference is that UK, especially the condos, they have very high service charge, which is called the maintenance fee here. And that's because maybe they have very high labor cost and high utility cost. So like when you say you can get 9% yield from the Manchester buy-to-let, but if you really put into that consideration the high service charge, the high utility cost, the actual net return is not that attractive.
Yep.
Yeah, and the worst thing is that the service charge goes up every year. There's no cap, there's no regulation to say that, okay, you have to maintain the service charge that you promised when you launch a project. And there's no cap that how much they can increase. For example, one of the flats that we own in London, they raised the service charge by 12% a year. That was like during the pandemic and then the Russia-Ukraine war. So they blame everything to the pandemic, to the, the rising
energy costs.
The energy costs, yeah. They just like blame everything to that. But when you look at the bill, it's like 12% increase. Oh, and you can do nothing about it. You have to pay it. You can't say like, oh, I don't agree with the number. Like I want to, sue you or whatever. Like, you can't. Yeah, you were just like legally obligated to pay whatever bills they send to us. So that's one thing that I think is a little bit unhealthy because as a leaseholder, we don't really have a say about the service charge. Yeah, but in Malaysia, I know we also need to pay the maintenance fee, right? But the cost is very friendly, I would say.
Locals, we still complain.
Okay, yeah. I say to me, like I'll compare the cost. I was like, it's only maybe 1/10 comparing to what we pay at the UK. And the facility here is way better. They have like huge pool, infinity pool, jacuzzi, like everything. But the maintenance fee, I think it's worth the money. Yeah. And I talked to some local friends. They said that they don't get increased that bill that much. Like they do have some increasement, but it's like small, like 3%, 5% maybe.
Marginal.
Yeah.
Marginal.
Yeah,
and because for property owners, you are required to attend this annual general meeting every year.
Okay. Like everyone could attend?
Yeah, every owner should attend.
Oh, okay.
Should actually,
okay.
but I don't.
Okay.
My obligation is to just clear all maintenance fees.
Okay.
Because again, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
And but compared to the UK properties, I think the main thing that Malaysians don't have is the energy rating of the building.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay, I have some personal experience with the energy rating because the regulation is quite strict in the UK, right? If you want to become a landlord, there are like so many things you have to do. You have to tick all the list. One thing is the energy rating.
Yeah.
So any property, they have like A, B, C, D. Any property that's below D, you can't let it.
Yeah.
You basically can't let it. Yeah. And then the energy rating, you have to renew it every 5 years. So that's insane. Like I have a 2-bedroom apartment in Birmingham, and we had the energy rating initially when we bought it. It's B, and then over the years, like it's 5 years time, like we have to renew it. Like I just did it several months ago. We have to hire like an energy rating expert to do the examination, which is costing like £200 just to do that, and then they gave us a rating of C, which is okay, like it's acceptable. But imagine that after several years, the rating will drop, right? Because the house is aging. You have to put a lot of money to maintain it, to keep the rating high enough so that you can keep let it out. Yeah.
It's insane.
So it's really hard to become a landlord in the UK. Extremely hard. And also, I don't know if you're aware of the tenants' rights in the UK and US, they're like super powerful, Yeah, they can like stay in your property even if they don't pay rent. You can't just let them go. Yeah, you can't. You have to go through a very, very stringent process to go to court to get a court order in order to ask them to leave. Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you shared this because when I was on that trip, the main agendas for the person who sponsored that trip was to push UK properties. So they tell you all flowers and roses of property ownership, all the good side of things where I think this applies to Manchester a lot where people are lining up just to get a space to rent. Yeah, I think
that is true. Yeah, the renting market is quite hot. Yeah.
Yes, I think because of the students there or the young population that's moving into Manchester. But on the other side, you will see all these stories that is not shared at all.
Yeah, of course.
Until when I was there about 9 days, and every day, the first day I speak to lawyers already. Lawyers, developers, agents, interior designers, renovators, the whole trip. I didn't even try what was UK culture like. I was truly
just dive into the properties.
Yes, and one thing that you mentioned also about facilities.
Yeah.
The facilities in Malaysia, it's mandatory So for every apartment, we call them a strata project. It's a must that you must have a swimming pool, you must have a gym, you must have...
Like it's in the regulation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's why when you look at all the projects that I've reviewed on your line, all of them have the same thing.
Yeah.
So the joke
and
is
the
always...
standard is quite high. Yeah.
Because
quite high,
everyone's trying to outbeat each other. And in the UK, just by having a swimming pool is a big deal.
It's a big deal, yeah. And also some people, they choose to not to have a swimming pool in the condo just to avoid the super high service charge.
Yeah. Because some swimming pools, you need to be heated.
Yeah.
I think the regulations in UK is a good and bad thing.
But I feel like they made it that way, you know. They just wanted to have so many people to be able to earn something from the whole property chain, I feel like. For example, the energy rating, it's just like they create a job for this, basically, to check the energy rating. But
I think because also you guys have 4 seasons. The weather.
Yeah, true.
Ours we also have 4. We have extreme
Raining
heat,
season,
then rain, then we have the durian season,
true.
and we have the haze season.
Oh, right.
So this is like for locals, like you need to know suddenly, hey, is this mist? No, it's just haze.
Haze, yeah.
And it comes from Indonesia.
I know about that.
So cool. Then after being an owner of a property, any plans for it? Are you going to just stay or
Malaysia? So for now, we plan to stay here for like maybe 5 years or so, just to see how it goes. And also depends on the visa, right? So as a foreigner for MM2H, I think you may be aware, like we have to renew it every 5 years. So I'll see after the initial 5 years.
Oh, you guys got via the recent revision?
Not yet, because that MM2H just launched. So we haven't officially applied yet. It just got launched like maybe a week ago or so.
We just did the episode like last week about it.
Oh, okay.
Because as Malaysians, we also don't know.
Well, you know what? We waited for this version of MM2H for like a year now. It's just too slow.
What's your perception on the revision then?
Well, one noticeable change is that they require you to buy a property, right? So that's something that got a little bit controversial online when it firstly came out. I remember I also made a video about it. From my perspective, I welcome the changes because I know like the government maybe want to push the property market, right? They have some like supply that they want to clear it out. So for me, it was okay. And also I already bought it. So for me, that's not a problem. But I do understand from interested people, they feel like it's a little bit too rushed to buy a property, you know, just to apply the visa. But also, I've talked to several agents recently. They said they got a lot of inquiries about the MM2H property. So I think it may be beneficial to the Malaysia property market, at least for now, short term. I thought
about it after the last week's episode, and if I am a foreigner trying to come into Malaysia and I'm forced to buy, forced to buy, the agenda is very direct. It's to clear unsold stocks. So you also have to play about the rules where the minimum price is
1 million.
But in Desa Park TC, it's nothing.
Nothing left.
The cheapest is more than that already. So where you guys place the money becomes such an important thought process. So sometimes when people think like, well, it depends on whether if you're filthy rich, you don't care where you buy, then so be it. But then if you are just like trying to make ends meet and this is a huge purchase, I think where you place this amount of 1 million becomes very, very important.
That's
because
true,
like for your skill set, you bought in a place where it appreciated. So not only you get to stay and hang out with us, then you also make money like 5-6 years later, right? If you buy the wrong one,
then that's another story.
So maybe in 5 years' time, you want to leave Malaysia.
Maybe you cannot even sell it. Right?
So maybe like I think if for those experts who are looking at this, right, the agenda is pretty direct and simple, but it really depends on where you place your resources. I think that is very, very important.
Because I do notice some of the areas, maybe they try to target those foreign buyers. But if you really look at it, it's probably a trap because if you like think about it, if they only target those foreign buyers, which means 5 years later, if you want to sell it, you have to find a foreign buyer to buy it, right? Because local Malaysian, they wouldn't live in that area, right? Then that market becomes like how do you say? Like there's only seller, but there's not enough buyers to buy it, because for foreign buyers, they may want to buy new developments, right? They don't really want to buy the second hand. So I think it's very important to pick some area which can be appreciated by the local buyers as well. So that's a healthy market.
100% accurate. So a tip for maybe your audiences who are also watching this, right? The thing that I would strongly encourage to have within the thought process is to only buy things that local will buy.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you were to really spend that money, spend in affluent local area instead of an expat focused area. Because the saying is this, like for my Singaporean audiences, they will appreciate this a lot. Like when we have local property players marketing their project to your convenience, it means they are very hard to sell. Right. If it's so easily sold, you wouldn't reach it wouldn't reach you in the first place.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think that's just some logic.
That's true. And also, if you like, for example, if you're from Hong Kong or like China, if you see they have like a property marketing event, like a huge one in your city, right? Just think about it. They travel all the way to your city to sell the property, which means it's not that easy to sell from their home country, right?
Exactly. So this is gonna break a lot of people's heart, but I think that's the truth. So be very worried and be very careful on where you place the resources. And I'm so glad that you place in the right place. To me, even locals right now couldn't get their hands on the project that you just bought. Well, to my surprise, it appreciated so much. I think it's also because Malaysia become more and more popular. Within these few years. Especially within the 6 months.
Exactly.
Like data centers is like a fiesta. Like data centers, we are so popular. And if the high-speed rail between Singapore and Malaysia does happen,
the RTS, right?
No, the RTS is the local one that connects to Johor.
Okay.
That's a high-speed rail that connects all the way to Thailand in the future.
That one.
So from here we get to hang out and have lunch in Singapore in 2 hours time. If that happens, I think KL property will explode. And in Desa Park City is already, like for me, as a local, I will not stay there.
Why not?
Because it's all full with expats. I
Really?
have friends, all my friends like who watch the channel, Singaporeans, Chinese from Canada, Toronto, some from Indonesia, all are buying Desa Park City because in that first glance, that first love.
But I think like it's also for some local, maybe affluent buyers.
It used to be.
It used to be, okay.
So for the landed ones, yes, it's all the old school Malaysian affluence. But then for the high rises, at that price, I get way more value elsewhere.
Is it because locals, they still prefer landed house? Like Okay.
And it's because I think from an expat perspective, it's a little bit different. Like for 2 million, for example, I can get a mansion in Selangor.
Where? Okay.
So with the same price, I can get maybe a 5,000 square feet single-story bungalow.
Okay. And like you own the land also.
And you own the land too. So, it depends whether as a foreigner you can buy landed strata, like landed projects where you still have a clubhouse in the center. Like if you watch the channel, then you understand. So then, because conventional individual title houses, like in PJ or in Sunway that you guys went, those you can't own. But for stratified ones, then you guys can.
Oh, you mean for foreigners?
Yeah.
Oh, we can only own strata landed, not like individual landed.
Individual landed, just to protect the locals.
Okay.
So there's a loophole to that.
Okay.
Now I'm also part of the expertise that they occasionally come for advice. Like what do you think that is the loophole that we can cover right now?
Okay.
I don't want to share too much because it's I'm also an investor. But this is so interesting. Like when you buy the place, just curious, what was the financing like?
We bought it all cash.
All cash.
Yeah.
So
That's
the rumors
because-
are true.
What?
No,
What rumors?
because for locals, like for now, like what is really hot in the local media right now is locals couldn't afford properties.
Okay, but I think for foreigners, right, it's not that because we are like wealthy or what, it's just because it's hard to get a loan here.
Exactly.
Right? That's the bloody truth. Like if I can easily to get a loan,
Who will use cash?
Yeah, like why not, right? But then I did some research and calculate the rates. It's also much higher, the rates for foreigners. And you have to go through lots of like paperwork, blah, blah, blah. And I also checked it with HSBC, I believe at that time, and they said they don't have any like loan quota for that project. This is something that I also want to ask you. Is that true? Like every bank, they have a quota for each development.
Yeah.
They said they used up the quota already for our project. So they're like, no, you can't get it.
It's to control their risk exposure to one project because Malaysia has still this stigma where projects are built halfway and being abandoned. So if it's abandoned, the banks, the financiers suffer too.
Will bear the loss.
Yeah.
Really?
Not really, but they will still charge the person.
Okay.
But it's still losses to them.
Right, that's true.
So they will have these kind of things. So the loan quotas.
Yeah. So at that time, like we basically don't have any choice. Like either we buy all cash or just don't buy. Yeah.
Wow. Nah, locals, you really buy cash one. Because it's something that for locals, like the benefits that we have. Sometimes when we buy properties less than $1 million for locals, we do get facilities from the government of 100% loan.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
Meaning not even 10.
No down payment, no deposit. Wow, okay.
And if you walk into any sales gallery, like for locals, we place, now it's zero booking. As long as you can qualify for the loan.
Oh, okay, okay.
You own the property.
Wow.
And then
that's a steal.
and
such a good deal.
For and just I think this will create a lot of values for you guys as well. For experienced investors like us, we buy deals underground. You guys heard of it, right? So like some properties where we play around the valuation from the bank, and we set the we do get and milk the deal out of it in terms of cash. For example, we can deal at 2.1, but in actual fact, you're giving me a 30% discount.
Yeah, that's something I also heard a lot, that they will say like I offer you a rebate or something, right?
Rebate here is very normal.
It's very normal.
So like if you walk into any Desa Park, not really, because they are
but
too
we went to the Damansara Heights, the Pavilion Damansara Heights. We visited that show gallery like 2 years ago, and they offer something like rebate. So at that time I couldn't understand. I don't know why. Like I give you money and then you rebate back to me. Like what's the point?
The point is we don't use our money to pour in. We don't put in our own money first. So indirectly, if I have an end financier, the bank puts in the money first. Later you rebate back to me.
Oh, okay.
So it's not my money to begin with. For you guys, then like, why don't just discount it off the price?
Exactly. I see. Okay.
So that's something
so
that
that's allowed. Like that's legally okay. Okay.
Temporarily, I suspect, because it's only a thing like 15 years ago.
Okay.
Because back then everything is still like 10% upfront. You need to qualify for your loan before you can sign. Then the end financiers will kick in. Interesting. Then something a little bit more chill to talk about. Like your kid, how old is he now?
3 years, almost 4.
Oh, so is he coping well with the local education?
Yeah. Like the other day, I asked him, "Do you prefer your school here or back in the UK?" He said he preferred here. I'm like, "Why?" He said it's much bigger here, the campus, and they got a lot of things to do. So yeah. Not bad, because back in London, right, the school is so small. Maybe because we stay in central London, so everything's like packed. Even those like very well-known private school, the whole campus is just like a one building. They don't have like huge playground. But here it's like so spread out, right? So, yeah.
Nice. Food-wise?
I love it. It's also one of the reasons why we moved here.
So just some warning for all my friends who moved back to KL, all grown horizontally.
Oh my God, don't remind me.
Because we are so good with carbs.
True. Everything's like, noodles or rice, fried noodle, fried rice. Yeah.
Our source of protein not that rich,
Yeah.
but we are really good with carbs.
That's true. And you know how to use the herbs, like those things, the seasoning to make it like so delicious. Yeah.
And in Desa City, you just one drive away when you reach Manjarara and Kepong area. Wow, so many things to eat.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think from your perspective, any reminders to expats trying to come into Malaysia? Like, what are the blind spots that you were caught by surprise?
Yeah, that's a really good one. I would say do lots of research. Don't just how to put it in the right way. Like don't just trust whatever maybe the agents tell you. Like, oh, this is the the hottest spot. Like this is a popular area to buy. Yeah, you have to do your homework and talk to maybe a lot of different agents to see a well-rounded perspectives. Yeah. And also some of the thing I also noticed is the living cost. It's actually getting a little bit higher comparing to what we first visited 2 years ago. Yeah. So there's some inflation things here, right?
Yep.
And also the ringgit got appreciate a lot over the past several months. So
it affects you guys a lot, yeah?
Yeah.
For us, we were very proud.
I know, yeah. But for expat, right, we still calculate everything for me like in pounds because our majority of like cash, money is still in pounds. So you have to base on that, right? So yeah, just maybe be careful of the foreign exchange rate. Yeah, like don't assume everything will be still very cheap and affordable here because I do hear, for example, like the fuel, right? Right now it's super cheap because of the government have the subsidy, but they may cancel one day. Yeah, which will be more expensive.
That is so interesting, but I think just to add some depth to that is because the inflation, it's very location focused.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like
so just KL, you mean?
I think KL got affected the most. And if you go to the suburbs a little bit, so my advice for expats is point number one, spot on, where you kind of share that don't rely too much on one source of information.
Yeah.
And the thing is this, the ultimate truth and reality, agents look at you guys as cash cows.
Yeah. They just want to close the deal, right?
Yeah. So like you guys got money, I got deals.
Yeah.
I'm never letting you go.
Yeah.
So that be very careful with that. And the only way against it is more information on your end.
Yeah.
That's why like when you say how my channel actually kind of assisted the journey a little bit, it's because I have absolutely no agenda on whether you buy or not. And I was actually like very surprised that you guys could understand me.
In which way you mean?
Because sometimes in the channel, like as Malaysians, we have so many language in mind. And sometimes even my guy behind the camera, he's Malay. So sometimes I speak English.
You mean you mix Malay and English, right? Oh, okay.
Then also I have dialects like Cantonese, like Hokkien and inside. And he will need to come back to me, boss, what do you mean by this? What is this phrase? And sometimes we have like 成语. And then then he like, what does this for sound? So I'm very surprised. And Indonesians as well.
Okay.
So that's why I'm secretly very, very proud right now. But then, would you recommend Malaysia to everyone else?
I think Malaysia is not for everyone. Like, it fits certain criteria. If you are looking for those criteria, then it's a perfect place. But if not, maybe it's just not for everyone. Yeah. For me, I feel like for overseas Chinese, it's a hidden gem. Seriously, yeah. I feel like if you're looking for something that there's a blended culture of East and West, right? Then Malaysia can offer, such a good offering. And then if you're looking for a bilingual or maybe multilingual environment, right? If you want to raise a child, it's good for their language development. Yeah. But if you can't bear the weather, can't bear the heat, then of course not.
That's the first hurdle, yeah. I think we are really hot.
Yeah.
Malaysia is very hot.
Yeah, I think it's not extreme hot, but it's just the consistency that, you know, every single day it's that
Do you
hot.
realize that your coat, your dress codes change all the way, especially from UK?
Yeah, of course. Like right now, right, my closet, it's only 1/3 full because it's only summer clothes. Yeah, like back then I have like so many different clothes, you know, for every single season, but now I don't have to. So it's kind of saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm kind of used to it because I stayed in Singapore for 3 years. So I kind of like know what it's like. But then I do notice a difference because back then when I was in Singapore, I'm working, right? So I was like going to the office in the morning, and then when I finish work, it's like 7:30 p.m. So I didn't really experience the heat during the day because I'm like in the aircon environment in the office, and it's so chilly.
Yeah.
But now I tend to like walk around, like walk outside during the day. So I do feel like, oh, the heat. Yeah.
So
I'm like getting tan also.
yeah. I think that's the main hurdle for a lot of Koreans. So I think personally, I can't wait for you guys to experience more of Malaysia. So this is like only I would call it like maybe 15% of Malaysia. If you guys want any luxury goods, you can always check out Singapore. They have way more range in terms of products like bags and watches and things like that.
But here we have so many also.
But
like
it's not enough for them.
Okay.
Not enough for them. So it's not my world. But then in terms of nature, what nature can offer, this is our strength. I can't wait for your kid to truly experience beaches. Then you can go hike around mountains, and it's like in Klang Valley, you will have like 1 to 2 hours drive. You will already have a lot of choices. And then if your husband is a fan of cars, like when at this rate of petrol, and our cars are relatively still cheap, we don't have the car tax and exemption thing. Like for Singapore, more than 10 years you gotta go the car. Here we have a lot of vintage collectors.
Oh really? Okay. Like imported.
Even locals you do have. So I have a community where they only focuses on vintage cars.
So you're into cars?
I'm totally anti cars, but suddenly lately there's been friends telling me that how they can be great investment as well, alternatives. Yeah, so you can get like a old 10, 12 years old Porsche Cayenne or a 911 at 80,000 ringgit.
911 is my husband's dream car.
Bro, if you're listening, there's a huge opportunity right now. You can get it for very, very cheap, and there's a lot of local expertise to kind of revamp it. So a lot of my Singapore friends come over here, get a landed house rent, and just to park his vintage cars.
Oh, nice.
It's like a dream truly come true.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, no wonder. Yeah.
Then like
our video like shift suddenly from property to cars.
Then the like East Malaysia, like Sabah.
Oh yeah, this is somewhere I really want to check it out.
Yeah, so like Sabah is amazing. Like whatever view that we think is nice in the Sabah city, put it on steroids. There's Kota Kinabalu.
Wow, okay.
Then Penang. Have you guys been to Penang yet?
Yeah, we visited. We visited on our second trip, because we are debating whether Penang or KL. Because, you know, on YouTube, there are a lot of people who, like, expect they live in Penang and they're, like, raving about it. Yeah, but after visit, I feel like to our family, I still prefer the metropolitan city vibes in KL. Yeah.
And it's not that far away.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
It's one flight away. Like
1 hour flight?
Yeah, it's a 1 hour flight away. So...
And like Langkawi, we visited Langkawi as well. It's nice. We stay in like a villa and they have like a private pool. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And sometimes like a lot of people feedback is like, how is this so cheap?
I know, right? And also the hotel here is very affordable. Yeah.
So just for my Malaysian friends, right, we gotta really step up our game, because as the economy is really booming, we are getting a lot of attention internationally. Things are going to go up, especially in the urban areas. So whether you like it or not, our friends are all coming in. Right? So areas like in Bangsa, Mongkiara, KLCC, Desa Bak City, these are expat hot areas. Because when they come in, these are the 5 main or 6 main locations that they will visit first.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to be there as residents, but we can invest. because a 5,000, 6,000 rent for you guys is still very, very affordable. It's impossible in our level.
Really?
Yeah, so like I have units in Mont Kiara where my Japanese expats are paying 5,000 per month. But in the place where I live, I'm paying like 2,000 each for double the size. So for expats, sometimes there are a lot of other alternatives as well.
Yeah.
Like if you were to just move 3 km away, your living expenses will be halved.
But I think there's a reason why expat choose to live in the expat bubble. I feel like because it is expat friendly, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy for us to, I guess, settle there.
Correct.
Kind of, yeah.
So my suggestion is if you guys don't really want to just straight away place down payment or booking for a property or purchase a property straight away, I would suggest to just experiment and rent around. So when you like Desa Park City, you could stay like a year. Then you maybe could move to Mont Kiara, which is like a half an hour drive away.
Yeah. True.
Then you can try out Subang, which is a very local centric area, and it's turning there as well. So there's this place called like the Sunway Pyramid Mall that you guys went. So that is a place where I worked at last time.
Okay.
So we designed the township.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's getting there from an expat point of view. There's so many other choices. Like if you think you don't want to settle for a shoebox in the city, you have mansions around. Like Seremban. Have you guys been to Seremban?
No.
Malacca?
Malacca, I visited there when I was like 14 with my parents. Yeah, but I can't really remember.
Yeah. So
I only remember one thing, like I visited like a super rich guy's house in Malacca, like the famous guy, but I forgot his name. Like, yeah, that's about it.
super rich guy's house. I think the
like
1980s.
Heritage
it's a heritage
house,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I think that's about it for today. So if you guys are interested in her channel where she share from an expat perspective, I'll put a link down below. And if you guys have anything more detailed from an expat point of view, because I'm not an expat, right? So if you guys need any reference, do welcome and DM me on Instagram or email me. But for more accurate, like international school fees, like obstacles, like rates and requirements imposed, I can't wait for you guys to really just file in for MM2H. And I want to see what's the processes like.
Yeah.
Because if whenever I go and ask for more information, they will just ask me like, what do you want to know?
We want to know. But I'm also curious, for locals, do you like the MM2H program? Like, do you support, or you're like indifferent, or you?
To me, as an investor, I love it.
True. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So you guys
buy the property. Or
you guys are gonna support all my properties, and but as a local, unfortunately, property prices, we Malaysians have this expectation where things needs to be the same for everybody all the time.
Okay.
So when like Singapore prices of property has skyrocketed, especially after COVID, like 3-5 times.
Yeah. Because a lot of rich foreigners
all going in.
But they impose the tax, right, for foreigners, 60%.
Even after tax, people are still buying.
Oh, these are like super rich people.
Yeah. If you look into major cities like Toronto, like Jakarta, like Bangkok's, it's the same. It's worse.
Yeah.
Just that in Malaysia, like in KLCC is the worst performing tier 1 cities in our books.
That's why I feel like it's undervalued.
Yeah.
So right now, the rising cost appreciation, it just like adjusts to the normal value, the fair value. Yeah.
We do find a lot of like my next deal is going to be there. We can talk off cam there. But like that is where we identify deals. When it's too hot, like Desa Park City, everyone asks me, can you buy Desa Park City? Like, buy. If you like it, buy. But from an investment point of view, I get way more value for my buck in other locations.
Like up and coming locations.
But that
but
requires...
they also talk about like Desa Park City too, but I don't really see a township where, can become Desa Park City too. Or maybe not yet.
You brought in a good point. So everywhere, like in terms of marketing, local tactic, we like to refer to a successful address in
Yeah.
a secondary location.
Yeah.
So it's like Desa Park City. Wow, this is going to be
Yeah.
Desa Park City too.
Yeah, the next Desa Park City. Yeah.
It's going to have the same
Don't miss
infrastructure, but
it,
it's
yeah.
not.
It's not, right?
It's not.
That's why, I visited Lake City the other day. I
Oh
don't know if you
my-
noticed, I made a video about it because I do see some marketing saying that, oh, that's the next Desa Park City, blah, blah, blah. We have a bigger lake. And then I visited there, but it's such a...
Nah.
Yeah.
So
nah.
when you have like Mount Kiara, then we have Kiara North. We are very good with like Kiara South, Kiara North.
Yeah.
We just add the main like Damansara. Damansara used to be the main name for luxury properties, and we exploited it. We have Damansara Perdana, Damansara whatever Damansara you have lah. In Damansara Jaya, Damansara Utama, all Damansara. Then from a local, if you're inexperienced, you will also get confused.
Wow, yeah.
And I doubt a lot of expats will do equal amount of research like you guys. So I really do appreciate it. Like, I think you guys just shown me how expats can use my videos. so thank you very much for sharing
you,
with us. And I guess that's all for today. Thanks you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one.
Yeah, thank you for having me.